Hi everyone, my name is Wawa and this will be the third and final match between Comablack and Semtex. Now so far we've seen Comablack dominate the last two games very well, truly showing the difference of a Diamond League and a Platinum League player. But now we are playing at the novice steps of war, and I can finally say that in this map Zerg has a map advantage, and I'll tell you guys about that in a minute, as we see Semtex spawning right here at the top corner as the purple Zerg as usual, and Comablack is spawning here at the south, spawning as the yellow Protoss as usual. Now, Zerg here has an advantage because there is a very good chance that a Zerg can safely go for a 2 base expansion early in this match. You wanna know why? Because in normal maps or normal settings of this Steps of War, there's a blistering rocks here. But now, here in novice settings, they have taken that away from here and moved it to the south entrance, which makes it really safe for the Zerg player or for any player to get this second expansion very safely. And this could be a very big advantage for the Zerg, as we see a spawning an extractor here being made early on. I think that's a pretty early extractor. But yeah, if the our Zerg player can really macro up well, it could really give a lights out early on for Comablack. And as we see Comablack here going for a standard opening gateway before the assimilator, and it's now not queuing up, which is always good, using that chrono boost to good use also. As we see the overlord here going already at the second expansion. I think he's already thinking about going for the third one early on, because it really is a big advantage if it does go on for that. As we see the spawning pool here finally going down for Semtex. Now Protoss is not really in a big disadvantage also, because this area is also open for him, but for Protoss it's not really ideal to queue up too much Nexus early in the game. It's kinda hard to macro that way, and it's kinda not very cost efficient if you ask me though, but I'm not really sure about that, so don't quote me on that. And they still have this ledge advantage where these colossus can just go up down up there and just go over and under these things. Also for stalkers, they can easily bring up and down these ledges over here, and also for colossus they could just abuse this ledge right here and snipe out some of those workers over here, which is pretty good, I could say. And also Steps of War is a very small map where Protoss can really take advantage of that, because Protoss units, as we all know, are very slow, and that Protoss ball, or the army of the Protoss, can easily move from one base to another and defend it if it is being harassed. So he has no problem with that at all. As we see a Roach Warren going down there for Semtex, so he's again going for his Roach build early on. As we see the cybernetic score also going down for Comablack with that warp gate technology being made. I would really suggest warping in that, I mean, chrono boosting that. I'm sorry, lost that word again. Chrono boosting that warp gate technology, just because that warp gate technology is really good and could really affect the outcome of this game in the long run. And the layer here going up for Semtex, so he's gonna go for tech here pretty soon. He might go for Mutalisk also and some roaches. So Muta Roach build is a pretty scary unit or army composition if you're playing Zerg, and that's not gonna be too much of a hassle to make, but it is gas intensive though, so it's a smart idea to get that second extraction early on. It should have been at least a couple of drones earlier. Because that's pretty late. They were already at the 27 count of the units. As you look at the production tab, warp gate being made, and some upgrades. Glealk reconstitution, that's for the roach. That's being made also for the Zerg. And the layer is about to get done. So I'm chrono boosting all those probes again. So it's not really a bad idea to chrono boost probes. It's actually pretty good and pretty smart way to spend your chrono boost, because that's gonna affect your macro. Gonna give you a big macro boost in the long run. As we see this observer, gonna look for some information. Going to Semtex base, and finally Semtex going for that natural expansion of his. I'm still pretty curious if he's gonna go for this second expansion over here. I think he should, because it's gonna be looking like a macro game or a long game, at least as we can see from Comablack's build right now. He's already queuing up for some tech units and upgrading stuff. So yeah, but not really, because he is still uh, focusing on gateway units, so it might not be a long game. As this observer here gathers some information, he's gonna see that Semtex here doesn't have that much units in his army yet, and he could easily go for the win here with his army composition. But he hasn't even destroyed this destructible rock, so it's not gonna be happening anytime soon. As we see some of those creep tumors finally being made for Semtex. This is what is missing these past couple of games, is those creep tumors, and those are really helpful, especially if you're defending your own base. Those can really set the face of the game and could really boost up all your units attack or move speeds that much that much greater, I would say. As I just get going down then once more, and those groups finds immediately being upgraded, which is pretty smart. As I say, Hydralists are always a good unit to counter anything, I guess, except for siege tanks though, because Hydralists just explode against siege tanks. Excuse me. And two more gateways here going down for Comablack. So again, we're seeing that gateway build for Comablack. He's really lacking that gateway build pretty much. Well, there's nothing really not to like about that gateway build, because it's pretty strong in the early stages of the game, it's strong in the mid games, and it's also a good solid line for late games. But you still need some of those carriers or Void Race or some Colossus late game, because when the Zerg player makes some ultraless, that gateway units aren't really gonna stand a chance. They're just gonna pop and pop and pop and not really gonna do much. As we see Semtex here trying to fully saturate this first natural expansion, making some spore crawlers there, so I think he's already expecting some Void Race to come out or some air units, just because he just saw those Phoenix early in this game, the second game. But he's not really gonna see that much air units this time. Maybe he can kill that observer off. And where's that observer, by the way? I have lost track of that observer, but yeah, he could use that to kill that observer. As we do see a pretty interesting army composition here. For Semtex, it could work up against this bunch, but not really, because these zealots are really strong against those Hydralists and Zerglings. They could just easily kill them off, especially when they get close. And those are the Hydralists off of creeps. They're really slow. They're not really moving as much as quick as they would hope to, or as you would like for. I hope they really give them some upgrades in the next expansion, like move speed at least. It could really bump them up a few notches or so. As finally we see Comablack here going for his destructible rocks, and he's gonna go for the push. Again, he is our attacker in this game, and I think right now Semtex is just playing cautiously and just making a lot of units that's of different type. Like for this hydralist, he could go for those flying air units, and the rushes are good tankers, and zerglings are just good at killing those stalkers. Very good at killing the stalkers, especially with speed research. As Zerg missile attacks are being upgraded, and Comablack here is the one who has went for those three bases. Wow, I'm pretty surprised with this one. I really am, but again, our diamond player is just showing how macro is very important in this game. Good macro can really make or break your game, as he does send a lot of